social group. It's also there for education. But what do you think, what does it mean for you personally to be able to come together and to be wise women gathering together? What significance does that hold for you?
For me, it's a connection to the past. Simple days when we were just sisters. When being Igbo, Yoruba, Muslim, Christian, whatever, really didn't matter. This group of women, we've known each other minimally 10 years. I said 10, 20, 25, 30 years. I was your age when I've known these ladies. It's more or less for me, it's like hanging on to my youth. Because these are sisters. These are my sisters from other mothers. So we more or less grew up together, raised our children together. The children are now grown and gone. So we're reconnecting and hanging on to what we created, what we had.
And for me, you know what it does for me? It eliminates isolation. And we are able to have fun. And it's refreshing to be able to connect with other sisters. And we all have similar situations. And we are able to take care of each other. That meant a lot to me. This is why we have these wise women to support each other. Because we are all growing old the same way. We are all still doing what we can do. Actually, some of us right now are like, can't even drive anymore. But I'm proud to say that there are some of us who will go out and pick them up and still do stuff to make sure they are doing well. So we are taking care of each other.
So not only are we creating something new for us as retirees or as we age, part of what we are creating is also that core support for ourselves collectively.
That's right.
You know, there is no part of me that is surprised that the two of you are behind this initiative, because as far back as I can remember, you have been some of the many women who have taken on so much organizing in the community, whether that was dance groups or life skills classes or just finding opportunities to uplift and to organize and to bring people together. And I think that's why when I think about aging, I look at women like you and I'm like, okay, no problem. Because there's such a legacy of strength in getting older. Thank you both for always being such wonderful examples of what womanhood looks like and what being older can look like and the possibilities of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we love life, we live well, we look good, we like to shine.
Because we are wise women.
Wise women.
That sounds like, is that how you end every meeting? We look good, we love to shine.
That's true though. Don't we?
I wish people could see the way you're shaking your heads at me right now. Tossing that hair.
Still to come on the show, I don't think we can talk about aging without talking about going gray, Evie.
You mean you can't talk about going gray? There is nothing wrong with going gray.
I know, but I'm still struggling with it a bit still, which is why I did what any aging 42-year-old who is struggling to come to terms with his changing hair color would do. I went on Facebook and asked for advice.
Yep, and almost 700 people gave you some.
Yeah.
You're going to want to hear what they had to say. That's coming up right after this.
Good afternoon. Here are the headlines from the CBC Vancouver newsroom. Police have discovered human remains in Green Tree Village Park in Burnaby. They say officers were called to reports of a grass fire overnight and found a burning body. The Integrated Homicide Investigation team says the person had suspicious injuries. They say they're now working to identify the body. Investigators are hoping to hear from anyone who was near the park overnight or saw something suspicious in the area. Vancouver police are asking for tips to help them find who carried out a random attack on a young woman. They say a 22-year-old woman was walking a dog near the Orpheum Theatre January 19th when she was suddenly attacked. They say a man approached her and then punched her in the face. She wasn't badly injured but was left traumatized. Investigators have released surveillance video of the suspect and are hoping someone will recognize him and notify officers. And ICBC rebate checks won't be going out as early as planned. The insurance corporation says the checks are temporarily delayed due to a cyber attack on a third party that had been contracted for printing and distribution services. It says the attack didn't affect ICBC's own systems, and they say there's no indication customers' personal information has been accessed. ICBC had planned to start sending out the rebates, averaging about $190 per customer this week. In the weather, the rain returns today with a high of 12 degrees, showers and a possible thunderstorm tomorrow with a high of 10.
This is Now or Never. I'm EP Coquitlam.
And I'm Trevor Deneen, and today we are discovering the fountain of youth and what it means to stay young forever.
This show is actually about what it means to age and the hurdles and the milestones and the joys that come with getting older.
But I'm sure if we found the fountain of youth, I don't think anyone would be disappointed at all, Leafs.
You need to get over this going gray thing.
I know, it's bothering me still like crazy, which is why I was actually blown away by all the people that responded to my Now or Never Facebook post. Because when I put it on there, I basically said, hey, I'm going gray, it's making me feel old, and I posted this fun little picture of what I would look like in my 80s. And I was looking basically just for some advice on what to do and how to deal with it. And I was not ready for what happened next, because almost 700 of you started sharing photos and stories of what it was like going gray. You guys were complimenting each other and tagging friends, and the message was loud and clear.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Teresa McGarrigle calling from Guelph, Ontario. I was having a discussion with my grade 5 students one afternoon about aging, and one student had commented on the gray hair that was sort of growing in on my temples, and I said to them, oh, I'm just getting older. And another student piped up and said, Miss McGarrigle, you're not aging, you're just evolving. And that made me laugh at the time, and like getting advice from 10-year-olds, they certainly put life into a positive perspective for you.
Hi, my name is Diane Murray Charles. I'm calling from Halton Hills, Ontario. So I'm 53, and I had been coloring over my gray hair since about my mid-30s. My sister passed away at age 44 before she had any gray hair at all. And one day, amidst the contemplation of when I would stop dyeing my hair, it dawned on me that it truly is a privilege to grow old, one my sister would never get to experience. So with that in mind, in November 2019, Project Silver began for me when I had my last hair color, and I am really happy with the results. I've always wanted highlights when my hair was
Hello, Now or Never. My name is Patrick McGuire, and I just want to say that going gray is pretty good. I started going gray in my mid-30s, and I'm now in my mid-ish 40s. And the way I kind of look at it is I spent a lot of my life parenting kids and teaching. I'm a public school teacher. And so I feel like I've earned every single one of my gray hairs. I kind of wear them with honor. My older brother has no children and is not a public school teacher, and he has no gray hairs. And so I think these things are definitely connected. But beyond that, one of my partners says that they think that my gray hairs give me a distinguished, gentle punk type of look. And so I think that's the polite way of saying sexy, and I think people with gray hair are pretty sexy too. So all those things to say, I think people should embrace going gray. Take it easy.
Hi, Trevor and Effie. It's Lisa calling in regards to Trevor's Facebook post about going gray. I'm 48 now and started growing my gray out about 2 years ago. Along the way, the thing I found the most odd was the number of comments from both men and women about how brave I was. And I just found this very strange. I don't really know what makes me brave by just embracing what's naturally occurring, but it happened a lot. And I actually even had a stranger walk up to me, a man, and give me a high five because he was proud of me for going gray. Anyway, that's the weirdest part. The actual growing gray part, I'm embracing and I'm loving it. I have no issue with me looking older, because I guess I am looking older as I'm aging year to year. So to anyone who's thinking about it, go for it. Embrace your grays. They look awesome. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Did that do it for you, Trevor? Are you embracing the gray now?
I want to try. Like, a lot of that advice really hit home, but there was one comment from a person that really stuck with me. So a little later in the show, I'm going to call her up to find out how her 5-year-old son helped her embrace aging and the gift of going gray.
If you want to challenge your idea of what it means to be any age, you might just need to expand your social circle.
So your family's all good? They're safe?
Yeah. I think my dad returned to working in the office. And my little brother is going back to school.
Hey, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's going pretty good.
That is the sound of two friends catching up. That's two friends with just a bit of an age difference. Liz Woods is 74 and Alex DeLille is 19. They met last year when Alex moved to Kelowna, BC for film school and needed to find a place to live. A program that matches seniors with students led him straight to Liz.
So I met a couple people, I had a couple calls with other people, and I met Liz. And yeah, it just seemed like it would be way better to move in with her. It's like, I'm not a big partier or things like that, and I figured if I live with people my age, they might have people over all the time, and that it might be, I would have a lot less, I guess, me time. And with a senior, I would have a bit more, just calm at home, and maybe a bit more maturity as well. I could have some nice conversations and just enjoy the time a little bit more quiet with them.
Alex, obviously, to me, came from a very good family because his father came with him to meet me to view the premises. And then when Alex moved in, he showed me that his family has a tradition that whenever anyone leaves home, they get a box of goodies and little gifts. And one of Alex's first things that he did is he hung a hand towel in the kitchen that his grandmother had made for him.
It started with that hand towel, and slowly but surely, these intergenerational roomies got to know each other.
His piano, we set it up in the dining room in a bay window. And I would be at the kitchen counter preparing food, and he would just sit down and be able to start playing songs that he was making up on the spot. And what I marveled at was he has never studied music, and he is just such an accomplished person by creating tunes and singing songs.
I told her that I used to have a record player, and I have a lot of old songs that I really enjoyed, and she seemed to like them as well, and I tried to play things like that on the piano.
It was so peaceful for me, and just made me feel so connected to him because he was comfortable about sharing his music with me.
And then Liz, she started sharing a few life skills with Alex.
I would watch some of the things that he was preparing, and I would say, Alex, there's no vegetables on that plate. Can we get you to just try cooking? I can teach you how to cook some of these things. So to keep me quiet, he went out and he bought a bag of carrots one day. And I swear to you, that bag of carrots was still unopened in the fridge when he moved out.
But now, if I do buy another bag, I'll try to make good use of them, chop them up, and actually eat them.
You're still going to the gym every day?
Yeah, eating healthier, trying to convince me to try some vegetables and try and cook a little bit more.
And having Alex around during these past several months of COVID was really quite comforting in many ways because I didn't have to worry that if I got sick or I needed anything, he was more than willing to run errands and pick up groceries if I needed anything or meet delivery people at the door. It was just very comforting to have Alex around. The loneliness that I see in my contemporaries did not affect me at all.
I think living through COVID times with Liz was, on my end, it was a bit scary because she doesn't leave the house too much. She stays there. So there was a bit of fear that if I don't want to contract anything, so I don't want to bring it home to her because she is more at risk. But also I feel just me being there with her because she loves to socialize, loves to eat out, loves to meet friends all the time. And so I think having me there to talk to and just to be there was very, very helpful for her and very, very helpful for me too. Because I'm leaving the nest, I'm leaving home, and I'm on my own for the first time. And it's nice to still have someone that's there and that's still, taking care of you and is still, looking out for you.
The benefits of hosting and doing intergenerational living are amazing. To be able to speak to a young person, and when they use the expression, "Oh, that's drip," "Oh, okay, what does that mean?" Or, "Oh, that's on fleek." "Oh, okay, what does that mean?" So it keeps you in tune with how young people are thinking and talking and what their slang terms on, and it's very, very rewarding. I can't recommend it enough.
This is Now or Never. I'm Ifi Chiwetelu.
And I'm Trevor Deneen. And if you don't mind, Eves, I'd love to call up Sherry Porter right now.
Absolutely. Give Sherry Porter a call. But first, quick question.
Okay.
Who is Sherry Porter?
Sherry is actually one of the people that responded to my post about going gray. And her advice hit home for so many people, myself included. Sherry, hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for taking my call.
My pleasure.
That post went just bonkers wild.
Yeah. Yeah, which is like I set aside time from parenting my child to say, I think I have something to say here. And yeah, I couldn't believe I got notifications for days on that.
People really loved your post. I know for me it stood out because you talked about your child and how you didn't want them to feel like there was something negative about aging. And that really struck a chord with me because I have two young kids and I don't recognize how often I'm complaining about things like my hair or my age spots or my wrinkles. So I guess what I'm wondering is, when did you realize that you didn't want to be doing this in front of your kids?
So I have one kid who's 5. He's actually a transgender boy. And when we thought he was a girl, I was very keyed into, I didn't want my kid to grow up with the same insecurities that I grew up with. And he's got curly hair, and I was still straightening my hair and dyeing my hair at that point. And I thought, well, his hair's so beautiful. Why is it something that, like, I won't go outside if I haven't straightened my hair? And thank God that I adopted that mentality. I did not talk about my weight. I did not talk about aging, and I was very careful to, redirect to him and say, you know what, it's okay to age, and all bodies are strong and beautiful, and hopefully with me and my husband both being very open about who we are, that he will be very comfortable in his skin.
Yeah. For you though, going gray, you had mentioned that you started going gray at like 20.
I did. I found my first gray hair in the basement of my music school, and got home and plucked it out. And then when I became a music teacher and my students started commenting on my silvery hair, I started dyeing it at that point. And it just felt like a rite of passage. I just thought, well, it's time. This is it. It's like menopause. It's something that's inevitable. And my time was earlier than most women. And it's my time to start spending, $150 every 6 weeks to do this. I dyed my hair for 12 years, maybe. Long time.
Yeah.
A lot of money. A lot of time sitting in chemicals.
And then when you decided to stop, was that an easy decision?
I almost didn't have the time to care anymore. I didn't re-dye it or anything in a transition. I just let it go. And one woman who I don't know said to me, your hair is amazing. I thought she meant like my style, and then she said it was the gray, and she said, well, your face is pristine, so you're able to carry that off. And I just thought, even if I did have wrinkles, I don't owe anybody a certain balance of youthfulness versus aging. Or people say that I'm very brave for not doing something. That's brave. Like for just not going to the hairdresser is brave. Okay.
I love it because I think even just talking to you for like the brief few minutes we've chatted, you can tell there's just like